This is Kim with Geauga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about the new Osight red dot. Neil and I both have red dots on our pistols, and we think there's a lot of advantages of having one. And if you haven't already, we have a whole series on that, which I will put the link below if you are interested. But one of the issues with them, a lot of the big barrier for most people, is the price point. So we're excited to see some more affordable options coming out. Before we begin the review, I had some exciting news. We've added a few different things to our training. So if you're local, we have added these holster certified patches. If you've taken any of our higher level classes within the last year, so defensive pistol, red dot, holstering, etc., you can actually get one of these patches, and they're cool patches. First of all, they're from Patch Ops. And then second of all, you can use them during our new program, which is our structured range days we run about once a month, which are great because there's not a lot of outdoor public ranges. And so what it is, it's kind of like a little mini lesson, a mini course, and then you get some free range time to enjoy this beautiful outdoor range. So make sure you check out our website for more information.
Alrighty guys, on to the review. So we're going to be looking at the Osite SE and the Osite S. Cool thing, both of these products, which is impressive, are fully enclosed emitters. So if you are a fully enclosed type of person, these both fit that bill. One of them has the charging thing, which we're going to talk about, and the other one does not. It's a regular battery. What I'm going to tell you guys right up front is this is not a reliability video. There's nobody out there when this is filmed that's had extensive use. I mean, I think I've had these maybe, I don't think it was 2 months yet. So I've shot with them. I've used them like I normally would. I didn't overly abuse them to see, you know, what they can take per se. We'll talk about what kind of buyer would be looking at this anyway to begin with. But what I want to talk about really is what the features are, what you get for the money, and is it worth your money? We're looking at the SE model. This is the one that actually has a battery. By the way, when you guys, if you do purchase one of these and you get one of these, there's going to be that little tab that you see on a lot of stuff that prevents, that's a little piece of film that prevents the battery from making contact, so it doesn't, you know, use the battery up. And normally you pull those out. Don't pull it out because you have to take the battery tray out, which I don't know why they just didn't put the battery not in the device, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Don't do what I do and try to yank on it and it won't come out. You have to take the battery tray out. Nonetheless, the battery tray is on the side. What I think is a very good improvement is its kind of form and its design. I'm going to grab the original Osight dot that they had, which was quite different. This was the original Osight. I don't remember what it was called, but you will be able to see here it is extremely tall. It's the tallest optic I've ever seen that wasn't like specifically a comp style, and it's not as wide as the comp. So if you are comparing it to like a Holosun comp, it's not as wide, but it is the same height. So it's a very, very tall optic. It's a decent optic, but not my favorite as far as form function goes. This might be an example of copying someone's homework, but here's the Osight, and here is the Holosun EPS carry. As far as the size goes, as far as width and height, I mean, they're almost identical. The only thing different with this EPS carry model on the Holosun is it has a sensor on here, which this one doesn't. We'll get into that in a second. But other than that, they both have built-in rear sights, if that was a thing for you, which on this, by the way, on the SIG, works out great since you lose the rear sight. So it has a built-in sight. It has adjustable rubber buttons on the side to be able to adjust your brightness. And all in all, for function-wise, they look very, very similar. So if you're familiar with this size and shape, and you like this, the EPS carry, you're going to get the same enclosed emitter with this one and the SE model of Osight. So kind of interesting. Here we have the Osite SE. By the way, their packaging, I think that matters zero, but it is pretty decent. It has a nice little felt cutout with some padding in there, so shipping shouldn't be an issue. You get these instructions, which, you know, probably only the smart people among us, i.e. the females are reading, and we're not. But this gives you all the instructions on setting your stuff up. So this particular enclosed emitter, the SE, once again, it does not have an auto function. There's no sensor on it, and I like that. I've done some shorts and some recent videos. My opinion changed when optics first came out. I thought the theory of having the light automatically adjust was great, but once under practical use, not so great. It doesn't make sense. It adjusts wrong, and you're looking into another room that may have different lights, and then they came up with these sensors, and I just don't like it. I like it to be fixed and be done with it. If it's too bright, great. It's not a big deal. If it's not bright enough, we have a problem. Particular model, you have your adjustments here for plus and minus, and that's it. You don't have to worry about it. They give you a tool, obviously, like I said. There's definitely been some looking over the shoulder from other companies and homework, because they have this very handy tool which looks very much like somebody else's, but it is different and it is neat. They also give you, which is, again, I would say that this product is probably one of the most thought out, like someone actually put some time and goes, what do most consumers need? For example, they give you extra screws for the battery compartment door. I talked about doing a pre-flight check where you make sure all your screws are tight, and that came from losing screws. So the other thing that they give you, which is really nice, is they give you a really nice screw toolkit, if you will. It's just 4 plastic containers, marks on the outside what they are. Once you get inside, once again, it's that foam that they put everywhere else. It holds everything. They're not going to get loose or fall out. They have all the different sizes. It's pretty smart. Again, this one had the battery already installed. You just basically take it out, take that film out, and it's good to go. So the battery comes with it, and pretty standard fare there. They give you this yellow card, kind of cool. On the back, it has a QR code, so if you want to listen to some really weird elevator music and watch them touch the different controls on here and what they do, you can. It's also in the pamphlet as well. I don't know who they wrote this for, but I have pretty good vision, and it's a bit of a strain. So I don't know why this had to be so small. The writing is like microscopic. If you're listening, Osight, make that bigger. There's no need to make it that small. Other than that, it's a box for the sight. It is IPX7 rated. It doesn't really say how long the battery would last, but the one thing I will say about all Osight, Olight products is that their battery life has always been very good, so I have no reason to believe it's not. It has a 1620 battery, so it's a little bit smaller than your standard 1632. Again, it's a side-mounted deal. The one thing I really do like about this is the reticle is adjustable. So I like the dot and the circle. Some people don't. So if you just want a dot only, you can do that. To change those reticles, you just hold the minus button down for 3 seconds, and it will cycle through, much like other manufacturers, where it has a dot only, a circle only, or a dot and circle combined, so you can set it up however you want, which is nice for the user. It does have a motion sensor, so the shake, awake, whatever term you want to use, where you move the gun and the optic comes on and it goes off on its own. You can turn that on or off if you don't like it. You use the minus button, you double press it and hold it for 3 seconds, and it will flash. When you are going through the different levels of brightness, and there's plenty of brightness here, I haven't had any issues in bright sunlight, it will actually flash when you get to the highest setting, so you know that you're there, which I think is nice. The multi-reticle in this SE is red in color, so I don't know if green is coming out, or maybe it is already out by the time you watch it, but when I got it, it was red. And it's a crisp reticle. I don't have any issues with it. It seems to be pretty nice, especially being that it's an enclosed emitter. Which brings us to our next model, the Osite S. And so this one is extremely familiar to this previous for the S and SE. We'll show you some B-roll, but it's identical as far as its measurements that I can tell. It's also an enclosed emitter. The two features that it brings to the table that the SE does not is it does have auto adjust. Again, I don't care, but maybe you do. And it also has the ability to be recharged. This older model, which although has kind of a weird, like I said, design to it, it was rechargeable. And I have had this for a year now, and I've never recharged it, and I believe it's over half charged still. So they seem pretty impressive. It almost seems like they have similar battery life to a fixed battery, but they're rechargeable. How it works. By the way, they give you a box. Surprise. And there's all this stuff inside. They also give you this handy little bag and this case to carry stuff. And then they give you the screws. Once again, very, very nice touch. Of all the things they've done, I think this is really nice. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had to actually order extra screws and parts to put optics on. So they give you, once again, some instructions. I'm not even going to get them out. Oh, yeah, I guess I will. There you go. And then they give you this even smaller yellow card, which talks about how to sight in your pistol. Which, by the way, I'd like to point out, On both of these models, the actual windage and elevation has, if you look at this right now, you're going to say there's no markings on it. So they actually engraved it in the same whatever black coating this is that has on it. So it's not like a bright white where it's highly visible. So it's kind of a cool touch, but it does tell you, I really don't like optics where it doesn't tell the end user which way to turn for point of impact. So this tells you which is right and which is up and down. So very, very cool. Again, foam packaging, very nice. Let's get that out of the way. And here's your deal. This is your charging port, and then they give you a cord, but I'm sure you all have 1,000 of these. And the way this works is you put your, you can put it right on top of your optic. So this is what it's going to look like. If this is on your gun or what have you, you take your charger cover, you put it on, bloop, and it tells you that I'm at like, what, I don't know, 80, 90% charge. You could plug this in and it would continue to charge. The cover goes off, and whatever technology they use is pretty sweet. So if this was the S model, which it's not, this cover would go on top like that, this guy here, and it would charge it up. What's the real selling point to this? Obviously they're bringing some new features to the market, which I do think is pretty cool. Again, no one can really speak to the reliability yet because this hasn't been around a long time, but let's not forget, if we look back, who's now a household name in optics, and that's Holosun. I mean, anyone that teaches courses, you're going to see a ton of Holosuns, and at one point they were, you know, nobody knew anything about them. So will Osight be the newcomer to the market? Time will tell. I can tell you that, you know, most of you have multiple guns, so if you have your primary optic on your primary gun and then you have some other extras, for $150 to $200, you can get either one of these models and test them out on your own, see what you guys find. I think you're going to be surprised at how well they're made. Maybe that'll change over time, I don't know. So what I can say about them is it seems like they're well thought out. It seems like they put a lot of time in the things that matter. If you go to their website, it's pretty obvious it's not an American company, so that might be one thing for you, but there's also some mainstream optic companies that are also not American companies, but it is what it is. You're the consumer, so you'll make that decision. Other than some wonky things like tiny print or stuff like that, the things that matter, they did a good job. It was well executed. All right, guys, we have a link below if you want to check them out. We appreciate all your support. You guys know where to find us here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble. We put all our premium content on Patreon. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.